Hey guys, thank you very much for doing this. Either one of you wants to field this one. I'm just curious, how aware are you of the kind of officiating standard that was set during the kind of first games of this? And does it feel like officials are maybe hearing or seeing more because there are no fans in the stands?
I honestly, I didn't really, once you're in the game, we're not really paying attention too much to, or worrying about that too much. I think we're kind of trying to focus on the next play, the next shift. I haven't really seen any issues. I think that in a lot of games there's been, a lot of penalties called. Ours maybe a few less, but can't really speak too much on it.
Next up, we'll go to Brendan Batchelor, Sportsnet 650.
Hey guys, this question's for JT. Just wondering, as you look ahead to Game 2, what do you think you guys need to do to be more effective in getting to some of those key scoring areas and creating some of those higher quality opportunities that you seem to struggle to generate yesterday?
Well, I think first and foremost, it is playoffs. It's very hard to get to the inside. Both teams are doing, that's their main focus, is don't let the easy chances come, those grade A's come. So you got to go to the hard areas, like you said, to get them. And, they do a good job of putting a lot of people down low. And, we just got to find a way to get our shots through and have traffic at the net and score those playoff type goals. I think we had a lot of time with the puck yesterday. But obviously when we did break them down, their goalie made some great saves. And I think that what need to get inside a little bit more, on a consistent basis.
Moving on to Jim Morris. Jim, go ahead.
Thank you. Hey, Brandon, this is a question. I asked Coach Green and he's about drawing penalties, and he said he doesn't want his players to dive or anything like that. And obviously so. But in playoffs, can you draw? Is there an art to drawing a penalty? Is there an art to making the other team take a penalty so you do get the power play chance?
I think, in playoffs, a lot of the penalties usually come when there's, heavy pressure. You're in the offensive zone and the defense is getting tired. And that's where you start to see a lot of the hooks and the holds and slashes and trips, things like that. So I think if you're talking about trying to draw penalties, it all kind of comes from your forecheck and trying to hem teams in. There was a few calls, I guess, to the neutral zone last night, but more or less it's the stuff in the corners, the holds, the trips, and the contact stuff. Pretty much, you don't see a lot of roughing calls, things like that. It's all most of it's stick work, and that comes from getting tired and being pressured. So for us to try to draw more penalties, kind of like Millsy talked about, going to the hard areas, and it's tight right now. It's tight hockey, and getting to the net and playing down low. That's where you're going to draw most of the minors.
All right, and I'm going to ask a question on behalf of Ed Willis from Post Media. The question is, are the adjustments for Game 2 about X's and O's, or is it about grit and urgency for either of you?
I think on an X and O standpoint, I think we've been practicing for, seems like a couple months now. I think we know what to expect from the other team. I think a lot of the time we're trying to worry about us. I think we know when we're playing, a high-paced game, good on the forecheck, that we're a lot to handle for other teams. So I think if we just worry about ourselves, I think we showed last game for, I think the parts of the game we had them hemmed in their zone. They were just chipping pucks out. They were tired. We can feel that. Normally you have that home crowd behind you, or the silence of the other team's crowd. You can use that as momentum, but right now it's just trying to ride it out as long as you can. And I think that we did some good things last game. But I think it's just getting back to our game plan and come out with that same start that we kind of midway through that game, we started to get a little momentum. I think if we could start our game like that, it should be helpful for us.
Great, thank you. Moving on to Ben Kuzma, Post Media.
Hey, JT, we know the Wild played as advertised last night. They give up the fewest grade A chances in the league from that home plate area. When you guys get possession, we all talk about getting to the inside, and it's a narrative that's never going to go away, and they box out so well. When you guys do get possession in the O-zone, JT, with a kid like Quinn Hughes, who was walking the line so well last night and controlling the puck, do you have to maybe throw a different look at the Wild, maybe do some rotations down low to get them out of that box, or should you have to stick at what you guys do best?
Yeah, I think it's just about executing at that point. They're trying to win as well, and they're trying to execute their game plan as well. And even a guy like Huggy that makes guys think probably, just as much as any forward in the league up top there, they still have one objective, and it's not to let that puck get to the net or not let him get by you. So it's going to be difficult. I mean, he's trying to shake them as much as he can. And the guys in front, the longer that's happening, the harder it is to stay in front because that D-man's also trying to push you out of the way. So it's challenging. The longer you wait with the puck, obviously that window for that perfect shot with a tip gets a lot smaller. But our Ds are trying to get pucks to the net. They block a lot of shots, and they stand in the middle of the ice, and they hunker down, and it works. They don't give up much. So got to keep going to the net, get more pucks on his pads. Obviously, he's got to, make the first save really well all the time. So it's just got to get there, and it sounds maybe repetitive, but it's got to get there and be stronger and hungrier around the net.
Next up, we have Farhan Lalji, TSN. Farhan, go ahead.
Thanks. I'll ask you both a question about the PK. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Brandon, we'll start with you and just your overall assessment of it in terms of not just the two goals, but the first one, it's hard to necessarily gauge your structure because it happened so fast, 3 seconds in. Your overall assessment of the PK, and for you, JT, how does playing a lot on the PK affect your overall game as you see it?
Yeah, I think we liked our PK. Obviously, when you give up 2 against, it's never ideal. But one's off a face-off, good shot, just kind of squeaks through Markey, and the second one, we had Eagle was right in the lane, just kind of snuck through Eagle's legs and through Markey's legs again. So I thought structure-wise, we were pretty much rock solid. A lot of things we want to continue, and I think we'll just try to move on. And then even though we give up 2, I thought we really liked what we were doing.
What was your question for me again?
Sorry, 1 second here. You?
How it affects your games.
Go ahead,
just
Brian.
on playing on the PK affects your game, because there's been some debate, from Travis about roster deployment and about maybe trying to potentially take some of the PK time, take that load off of you. How does it affect you when you play? Because you were on the PK a fair bit yesterday.
I mean, if you spend a lot of time on the PK, I mean, I could see, if that's getting to be 4 or 5 minutes a game on it, I see maybe that affecting me. But, I want those minutes. I think Travis knows that. I enjoy playing on the PK. I take a lot of pride in it. This time of year, it's, a big PK can do the same as, getting the momentum on a power play. So I take a lot of pride there. I like being there. Obviously, there's some times where we might have 6, 7 power plays, and I'm already at more minutes that I'm probably going to play. So, yeah, it could be harder, but I mean, I'm not letting it affect my play. I think if you want to play in all situations, you have to be prepared mentally and physically to do the job, and I'm totally up for that.